What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lexi J Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Lexi Johnson. This is my husband and co-host, Brett Johnson. Brett, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm incredibly sore. Last night we did the 9/11 tribute stair climb, and it was actually my second of the day, and I had recorded a lower body workout first thing in the morning. So yesterday was a very active day for me in my calves, honestly, more than anything. I was expecting my quads to feel it the worst. My calves mooing.
Yeah, I figured your feet were going to be what bothered you the
I'm
most.
so proud of my feet. You guys have heard us talk in the past about I have a horrible plantar fasciitis and a bone spur. But I was very diligent about wearing my boot in between the climbs, and then I've been wearing it extra tight, and I've made it all through the night, which is really hard for me because it's hard to keep your foot in a 90-degree angle all throughout the night. Like, it hurts your calf. It makes your toes go numb. We're actually recording this in the morning rather than at night when we typically do. And I've been awake for about an hour, and from the ball of my foot to my toes it's still asleep. When I wear my boot tight like that, it's just going to be asleep for the first 90 minutes. I'm awake usually.
Man, I didn't realize it was still asleep.
Yeah, it's just part of my existence. But I'm proud of how much my feet...
Better than pain, right?
Yeah, but asleep doesn't mean you can't feel anything. It's a weird
that tingling sensation. Yeah, that's not great.
When I was in high school, this girl I know, she had her foot up on the desk. She didn't go to my school. She had her foot up on the desk because they were watching a movie during a sub, when a substitute was there, and had her feet crossed or something, and one foot went to sleep, and she got up to walk to the bathroom and broke her ankle. Because her foot was asleep, and she must have been charging. Broke her ankle.
Must have been an aggressive step.
Yeah. Anyway, in honor of the stair climb yesterday and just having thoughts on that, I felt like it was appropriate that we just talk about, just the opportunity of it every single day. And I know after doing that last one yesterday, it was a really humbling experience. The first one, I felt good. I felt strong. The second one was gritty, and I had to really push through, but it gave me such good experience because it's not often that you put yourself into positions. You may think you're pushing yourself in workouts. You may think you're doing this, but it's such a brief glimpse of that discomfort that you really don't get the full grasp of, the sacrifice that was made. And when you're doing it in honor of, such a monumental moment in history, I think that for an extended time, for over an hour, I was thinking about how every single first responder that ran into those buildings, they were going step after step after step like I was, except they were going fully aware that they would likely never come out. And I was doing it, with a countdown in mind. As soon as I hit this many steps, we're going to leave. We're going to go get dinner. We're going to, just resume our normal lives. And that wasn't the case for them. And I'm just I cannot imagine what was going through their heads, and can't imagine that sort of courage and bravery. So I just thought it was so cool. And after the stair climb last night, the Lexi J Wellness crew that was there, we just got to talk about just the perspective that it gives you for each day. And that awareness that we wake up and we complain about the littlest things. We complain about doing 30 minutes of physical activity. We complain about going to a job that we have. We complain about having to drop our kids off at numerous activities, but that's an activity that we get to do. Each and every one of those are opportunities, and those are things that 343 firefighters went into that building knowing that they probably never have the opportunity to do again. And it hit home for me, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. The experience of it, when you're in the middle of it, it's you have to start telling yourself those things, to give yourself perspective. Because it is hard, and once in the beginning, you feel strong. You did 2 of them yesterday. I only did 1, so kudos to you. But whenever you get 2/3 of the way through, that's whenever it starts setting in. Probably set in after the first one for you, since you had already done one complete one that morning. But being that we have there's a finish line, and then we have life after. We get to go home. Like, we're thinking, okay, well, I can't wait to eat a meal after this. I can't wait to have post workout. I can't wait to go and have a good night's rest. Like, there's that after that we get the benefit of. So we just, if you do it properly, you can be intentional about the time that you have and the then and there, and you just get to kind of embrace the suck. And whenever you're going through that with a bunch of other people, it's motivating to see another person push through the suck, because it is easy to want to give up. But keeping that perspective, it is important, because we have life after, and we have the opportunity to just know that afterward everything's going to be all well and fine. There's really not an ultimate sacrifice that we're making. It's really just us commemorating the ultimate sacrifice that somebody else made for countless other people.
Yeah.
And that's really the exclamation point on the end of that.
It's just like hard to fathom that experience. And we were doing it, like, we had our rucksacks on, and mine was about 35 pounds. Yours was about 45 pounds. And that made it a lot more challenging. But I was also wearing a tank top and shorts, and we were in an open area. Like, all of the different factors of being in an enclosed stairwell, wearing all that gear, like how hot and smoky it was, how you probably couldn't see anything. And I'm just like, it's just so hard. It's so humbling for me to wrap my head around that those were, it's crazy because, like, when I think about that, I think about them as like actual superheroes, but it's like, those were people's dads and brothers and sisters and moms. And like, those were, quote unquote, average people that just like rose to the occasion. And it's so, so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes me emotional.
Yeah. Just like your brother and your dad.
Yeah. That's like, it's just wild. They left their families that morning, and, every first responder goes to work knowing that could be the last day. And for them it was, and they rose to the occasion. It's just really special. And I think it's something that we should do every year, just to commemorate and make sure that it's never forgotten, because those were really special people to a lot of people. And that day changed thousands and thousands of people's lives.
Definitely.
So, but anyway, yeah, I feel like that is something like that it's not something that we prioritize to put in place in order to feel that uncomfortable from day to day. And leaving, I just, like, on the drive home last night, I just had a sense of urgency. Like, I have so much I want to do, and so much I want to accomplish, and so many people I want to talk to and touch and, like, impact, that I was like, I don't even want to go to sleep. I have so much to do, and who knows what tomorrow will bring. So I feel like the perspective that it gave me just kind of lit another fire under me. And I hope that for those that participated as well, like, you feel that same way, that you're going to be more urgent with, like, loving the people that you have and telling them that. And it doesn't have to be like ambitious pursuits when it comes to your professional life or finances or whatever. It can be just that. Like, are you, spending the day being, as intentional as you could be with your loved ones? Because who knows if that was the last day or the last time that you have that opportunity. But I just left with, like, an overwhelming sense of, I have an opportunity every single day to do the little things, to do that workout that I have been complaining about, to make that call that I feel like I don't have time to do, or I keep putting on the back burner, or just like little things like that. I just think that, it gave me really good perspective.
Definitely. Yeah. It's everything to be able to have perspective and gratitude for the moment. And again, yeah, we can take a lot for granted and start complaining about a lot of little things. Because we don't keep the perspective. We don't understand how good we do have it. And really, that every day is an opportunity. It's not a death sentence. And that being said, you are going to die. Like, that's a hard-hitting thing. Like, I'm going to die. you're going to die. Every day, really, it's hard to keep that in perspective and understand that each day is really just an opportunity to do life, and to, if you're on the pursuit of an excellent life, on the pursuit of getting better and seeking your full potential, I think that encompasses, the best way I can phrase, what our ultimate goal is to seek our own true potential. And it's hard to keep that perspective day in, day out, because we get focused on the little things and we want to complain about things. We want to talk about how hard things are. But the general theme of this message that we're giving is that if you keep that perspective, that every day is an opportunity, and focus on the controllables, focus on the opportunity that you've been given to be in the position that you're in, whatever that may be. If you're a mom, if you're a dad, if the job that you have gives you the opportunity to impact people's lives, if you get to parent a child and impact their life and shape them to be a good quality human that impacts other people's lives, really just to overall create a positive domino effect, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people find, I would say the common denominator of more people's grievances or complaints from day to day is probably from their work. I don't think that most people are in positions where they're feeling super fulfilled. And to that, I don't know if parable is the correct term for it, but have you the bricklayer, the 3 bricklayers?
Refresh me.
So it's like someone walks up to these 3 bricklayers and they ask the first one, like, what are you doing? And
yes,
he said,
yes. Yeah.
I'm making a paycheck. The second one, I can't remember what he said. He's like, I'm building a structure. And the third one said, I'm building a church for people to worship. And it's like the difference between those 3 individuals' mindsets in approaching that same job across the board. They're all doing the exact same skill. They're all practicing the exact same profession. However, they have 3 different mindsets and they're going to get completely different experiences out of it. Like the first one that just approaches it a paycheck, it's like clock in, clock out. I'm going to do my time, check the boxes, and that's all I'll get from it. Mm-hmm. The second one is, skill oriented. Like I am going to perform the skill that I have and I'm going to do it
without the vision in mind.
Yeah. And then the third one knows at the end of this task, when I'm performing this skill, there's going to be a place for people to feel safe and, celebrate and be together and find community, and that end vision and understanding that what you do, even if you're not seeing the direct impact of it, it has impact on other people. And I think that we could trace it back to any sort of profession that you're impacting lives, you're bettering society. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's all about mindset. So I know that a lot of people listening to this, because I hear from the people that we work with a lot of times, you're unfulfilled in your work and you're not super happy. However, I think that we can shift that mindset. If you're not going to change professions and you're not going to change work, then I think we can shift the mindset towards that daily, shift whatever, when you're feeling like you're just clocking in, clocking out and paying your dues. I think that there can be a lot of fulfillment we're leaving on the table if we're just willing to kind of, just take the opportunity. Like anything else, there are a lot of people that don't have jobs, that don't have the opportunity to work the way that we do.
Mm-hmm. Something that just occurred to me as you were talking about that, which I think may have, it may put a little more emphasis on what you just described. So whenever you're describing somebody who's a laborer, let's say their occupation is in masonry. Let's say that they, their job is literally to put in stone, put in brick. So when you go and ask them that very question, what are you doing? Well, I'm building a wall. Let's just describe it as simply as that, because that's likely what a lot of them would say. And that's no different than somebody saying, well, what are you doing in an office setting? Well, I'm entering data. Or, it's not that you're not describing the end result. You're not describing the purpose of the business and what service they provide. So you focus on the nitty gritty, well, this is my task, this is my job. and it's this little thing that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But then let's say that you ask somebody who's going on a mission trip and you ask them what they're going to do. They're likely going to say, a lot of times on a mission trip, you're going to build homes for people that need them, or you're going to build schools for people who need them. If you ask them what they're going to do, they're not going to tell you, I'm going to go build a wall. They're going to say, I'm going to go build a home for somebody.
You're providing shelter and safety.
Yeah, I'm going to go build a school for somebody so they have a place to learn, so they have a place to gather and feel safe and feel to get educated, to further their life. And I think that's pretty profound, because we have this way of shaping things in our mind where our job isn't an opportunity. Our job is just something we have to do. We're forced to do, to go from day to day.
Means to an end.
Exactly. We don't approach it. Most people don't approach it with a purpose. Yet, whenever you volunteer your time and you feel like you're doing something for the greater good, you go on a mission trip and you dedicate that time to do something that you feel is meaningful and impactful in somebody's life. And you're going to tell somebody that I went and I built a home for somebody that didn't have one. You're not going to say I went and put up a wall. Like you're going to say that there was a mission behind what you did. And I think there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure. I think just like your mindset, and I talk about this all the time with the domino effect, you're going to create a domino effect, whether you like it or not. Like one will ripple. Your actions have consequences. Your words have, follow through. They are impactful, but they're not always positive. Like you can absolutely and do create negative domino effects. And it starts with your mind. It starts with you. If you don't intentionally start talking to yourself in a way that's going to produce optimistic outcomes, it's no surprise that the fruits of your labor, the consequences and the outcomes in your life are going to be negative as well, if that's all you're continually thinking and talking about. So just shifting that mindset, and it starts with you. It starts with not have to, but get to, because those things that we're complaining about, there is someone out there would kill for that opportunity. That same opportunity to get up in the middle of the night and change diapers or feed a baby, like that one that we roll our eyes at when the alarm goes off because you have to go to work. Like someone would kill for that opportunity. Someone wants that so bad. Someone wants to be going to school and have that heavy workload just like you do. There are instances everywhere, and I hate playing the scorekeeping game and saying someone out there has it worse than you, but it truly is an opportunity that we take for granted so easily. Definitely. Myself included.
Absolutely. Man, it's easy,
Yeah, just like for, when this stage of life is over, then we're going to we're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy whatever. It's
so easy to just fall into that trap, because everything we do, I think that again is just, it's also a societal norm, to want to be able to complain. Misery loves company. So it's easy to want to complain about stuff, no matter what it is. And to have somebody that basically verifies the way that you feel.
Validates.
Yeah. And they make you feel like, yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, this does suck. You're right.
Yeah. It's abnormal for somebody to... It's like the Jocko thing, Do you have we have a problem? Good.
You're going to have to give more context. Most people don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's this bit from Jocko Willink. If you don't know who Jocko is, just look him up. He's everywhere. But
he's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah. He's a stud. He's about as studly as they come. But he has this bit where he goes through all these different scenarios where basically he's describing if somebody comes to him with a problem and they say, we have this problem. Good.
We didn't get funding for this. Good. We don't have enough backup for this mission. Good. We don't have, everyone is sleep deprived. We're running, we're running low. Good.
Right.
Whatever the situation is.
And the underlying purpose of what he's doing there is he's identifying the fact that anytime there is a problem, that there's an opportunity to find a solution and to get better. Because without problems, there are no solutions, and without people learning to find solutions, then nobody truly gets better, and hones their skills. So I think that there's, that's something that we can add to this, and to give perspective on the day to day and the problems that we have. It doesn't matter what path you're going down in your life. Everybody is going to encounter problems every single day, and whatever those problems are, if you shape them in your mind, you have to reshape these things as opportunities. And these opportunities open new doors for you, because these new ways of finding solutions and shaping your life to be something that matters, instead of something where something happens to you, it happens for you.
Yeah, recently, I was talking to Brett about just some like ambitious ideas I have coming up in the next few years, and it wouldn't be something that we could really implement in the next couple months. And when I told him that, he was like, well, kind of, he's my nuts and bolts guy. Like, he will explain and poke holes in plans, and that's what I need, because a lot of times I will kind of just float on an idea that definitely needs some more stability. And he was kind of saying, like, we would have to get this, we would definitely need to, just kind of ran through the things, everything that would have to happen in order for these things to take place. And I just said, those are exciting problems to have. Those are exciting problems to solve. Just because
we do a good job of rounding each other out, because I have a way of being able to see all the details. You have the vision, you're the visionary. I can see the details, and then you can reshape my mind a little bit whenever I start getting into the nuts and bolts of the details and thinking, how is this going to happen? And again, creating the vision for me. We always figure it out. I mean, I would never ever have guessed that I would be doing this. Like, we're sitting right here doing this, talking to you people with my wife. That's the last thing that I ever would have guessed I would be doing. So there's always going to be that thing that you're like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. That sounds nice, but it ain't gonna happen. And it is.
Exciting problems to solve along the way. And they don't go away. Problems never go away. They just evolve based on your circumstances. So if you're waiting for problems to dissipate, then that's not going to be the case. So we can just, get back to reality now. But the whole point of this, I had such good perspective and a sense of urgency of just taking the opportunity for each and every day that we have, after the stair climbs yesterday, and just knowing that people were doing that, not as a little exercise or a challenge or just a one night deal. Like, they were doing it knowing that they were leaving family and friends behind, knowing that they may not have said goodbye to their loved ones, and knowing full well that they probably saw them for the last time, and they were doing it for perfect strangers. And it gives me goosebumps just to talk about. So I just thought that was perspective that we all needed. I was really glad to have it. And I'm glad to do it twice, just because it hit home even harder the second time. And it was really cool just to see the firefighters doing it in their gear. It just gives you such good perspective, like I said. And we were doing it in open air. I cannot imagine a smoky-filled stairwell that was so hot with...
Could barely breathe.
Yeah.
Even with their ventilators on, I can only imagine.
I was thinking about like the sounds of like the building had to have been just like shaking and creaking, and people were screaming, and that was just the sounds you heard for hours.
Yeah, it'd been horrific.
Yeah. Good perspective. And if you did not do the 9/11 stair climb, I would highly recommend you do it. It doesn't have to be on September 11th. Just to give you that perspective. We did it with weight added on our back, and depending on your fitness level, body weight will for sure give you that same perspective. But it's 110 flights of stairs, or 2,200, individual steps, would be the equivalent. But it was an excellent thing to be a part of. It was really cool.
Yep. Good perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. In the meantime, if you have any topics or questions that you'd like us to touch on, feel free to shoot those to our email.
pod@lexijwellness.com.
Until then, we'll talk to you next week.